but I mean, I think that it is that they have a lot of things in it, but both the Cherry Orchard and the Seagull, he called comedies, but this he called a drama. But so, I mean, I think just that it is, so you know about that. And now we are live on YouTube, and so let us. Hi, welcome. My name is Paul Sugarman. I'm founder of the Instant Shakespeare Company, and now we have our Instant Checkoff Ensemble, and we're still waiting for a few of them to appear. But I will be reading Fedotic, and I will probably be. I'm sorry. I'll be reading in for Vershinin and Selenius until they get here. Does anybody, we're started, we're live, we're on YouTube. Does anybody have any questions or concerns before we get started though? I didn't really get a chance to ask.
Nope. Good to go.
Good to go. Let's dive into this play then. All right, I just want to introduce the cast and then we will begin. Paula.
Yes, I'm Paula Hosa. I'm reading Masha.
Amelia.
Hi, I'm Amelia Bell, and I'm reading Irina.
Marin.
Hello, I'm Marin Sugarman, and I'm reading Olga.
Ken.
Kenneth Wayne, I'm reading Andre.
Okay. Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew Bolander, and I'll be reading Tuzenbach.
And Michael.
I'm Michael Gardner, and I'm reading Cheputikin.
Okay. John.
Yes, I'm John Esposito, collegian. Is that right?
Collegan? I think that.
There you go.
You say collegian.
I mean, and the important thing always that pronouncing Russian name. It's like when you're pronouncing difficult words in Shakespeare, say it as if you believe that you know that is the right way to pronounce.
There you go.
That's really the most important thing. You know, if you did so. Anyways, and
good advice.
Yeah, Jackie.
Oh, Jackie Margolis, and I'm reading Anfisa.
Oh, great. Give it that.
Yeah, so we'll also I'm expecting some other people to arrive as well, including Derek, who will be reading Vershinin, and Eduardo, who'll be reading Selenius, Eleanor, who'll be reading Natasha, and Jennifer, who'll be reading Rode. So I guess if Eleanor doesn't get here, Jackie, maybe if you could step in for Natasha.
Did you just check? Paul, did you check your email?
I did just check my email. I saw your.
No, the reason I'm saying is I'm wondering if they're waiting for you to send them a Zoom link.
Yeah, people have trouble. I have trouble
sending them. And I'm also going to read these stage directions because I think that it is. I mean, we're a little less familiar with it, and it's not like Shaw's stage directions where he just. Well,
except when you say he walks out, they refer to me brushing my beard a lot, so
I'm not going to do those sorts of things. I will try to avoid sort of interior of speeches. It's like and I'm not going to do any
his beard.
But things like the clock strikes 12. You know, I mean, things that will be that should be that are like about physical actions that we can't really represent in the Zoom.
Right.
Anyway, so enough of this. Let us dive into The Three Sisters. Act 1. The action takes place in a provincial town. In Prozorov's house, a sitting room with pillars. Behind it is seen a large dining room. It is midday, the sun is shining brightly outside. In the dining room, the table is being laid for lunch. Olga, in the regulation blue dress of a teacher at a girls' high school, is walking about correcting exercise books. Masha, in a black dress with a hat on her knees, sits and reads a book. Irina, in white, stands about with a thoughtful expression.
It's just a year since Father died last May the 5th. On your name day, Irina. It was very cold then and snowing. I thought I would never survive it. And you were in a dead faint. And now a year has gone by and we are already thinking about it without pain. You are wearing a white dress and your face is happy. And the clock struck just the same way then. I remember that there was music at the funeral and they fired a volley in the cemetery. He was a general in the command of a brigade, but there were few people present. Of course, it was raining, then raining hard and snowing.
Why think about it?
Oh, it's so warm today that we can keep the windows open. Though the birches are not yet in flower. Father was put in command of a brigade and he rode out of Moscow with us 11 years ago. I remember perfectly that it was early in May and that everything in Moscow was flowering then. It was warm too. Everything was bathed in sunshine. 11 years have gone. I remember everything as if we rode out only yesterday. Oh God. When I woke this morning and saw all the light in the spring, joy entered my heart and I longed passionately to go home.
Will you take a bet on it?
Oh, nonsense.
Don't whistle, Masha. How can you? Oh, I'm always having headaches from having to go to the high school every day and then teach till evening. Strange thoughts comes to me as if I were already an old woman. And really, during these 4 years that I've been working here, I've been feeling as if every day my strength and youth have been squeezed out of me drop by drop. And only one desire grows and gains in strength.
To go away to Moscow, to sell the house, drop everything here and go to Moscow.
Yes, to Moscow, and as soon as possible.
I expect Andre will become a professor, but still he won't want to live here. Only poor Masha must go on living here.
Masha can come to Moscow every year for the whole summer.
Everything will be arranged, please, God. It's so nice out today. I don't know why I'm so happy. I remembered this morning that it was my name day and I suddenly felt glad and remembered my childhood when Mother was still with us. What beautiful thoughts I had. What thoughts?
You're all radiance today. I've never seen you look so lovely. And Masha is pretty too. Andre wouldn't be bad looking if he wasn't so stout. It does spoil his appearance. But I've grown old and very thin. I suppose it's because I get angry with the girls at school. Today, I'm free. I'm at home. I haven't got a headache and I feel younger than I was yesterday. I'm only 28. All's well. God is everywhere. But it seems to me that if only I were married and could stay at home all day, it would be even better. I should love my husband.
I'm tired of listening to the rot you talk. Oh, I forgot to say that Vershinin, our new lieutenant commander, colonel of the artillery, is coming to see us today.
That's good. I'm glad.
Is he old?
Oh, no, 40 or 45 at the very outside. He seems rather a good sort. He's certainly no fool, only he likes to hear himself speak.
Is he interesting?
He's all right. But there's his wife, his mother-in-law, and 2 daughters. This is his second wife. He pays calls and tells everyone that he's got a wife and 2 daughters. He'll tell you so here. The wife isn't all there. She does her hair like a flapper and gushes extremely. She talks philosophy and tries to commit suicide every now and again, apparently in order to annoy her husband. I should have left her long ago, but he bears up patiently and just grumbles.
With one hand, I can only lift 54 pounds, but with both hands, I can lift 180 or even 200 pounds. From this, I conclude that 2 men are not twice as strong as one, but 3 times, perhaps even more.
If you're hair is coming out. Take an ounce of naphthalene and inhale a bottle of spirit, dissolve and use daily. When found, make a note of it. Not that I want it, though. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Ivan Romanovich, dear Ivan Romanovich.
What does my little girl want?
Ivan Romanovich, dear Ivan Romanovich, I feel as if I were sailing under the broad blue sky with great white birds around me. Why is that? Why?
Oh, my white bird.
When I woke up today and got up and dressed myself, I suddenly began to feel as if everything in this life was open to me and that I knew how I must live. Dear Ivan Romanovich, I know everything. A man must work, toil in the sweat of his brow, whoever he may be, for that is the meaning and object of his life, his happiness, his enthusiasm. How fine it is to be a workman who gets up at daybreak and breaks stones in the street, or a shepherd, or a schoolmaster who teaches children, or an engine driver on the railway. My God, let alone a man. It's better to be an ox or just a horse, so long as it can work, than a young woman who wakes up at 12 o'clock, has her coffee in bed, and then spends 2 hours dressing. Oh, it's awful. Sometimes when it's hot, your thirst can be just as tiresome as my need for work. And if I don't get up early in future and work, Ivan Romanovich, then you may refuse me your friendship.
I'll refuse.
Father used to make us get up at 7. Now Irina wakes up at 7 and lies and meditates about something till 9 at least. And she looks so serious.
You're so used to seeing me as a little girl that it seems queer to you when my face is serious. I'm 20.
Oh, how well I can understand that craving for work. Oh, God. I've never worked once in my life. I was born in Petersburg, a chilly, lazy place in a family which never knew what work or worry meant. I remember that when I used to come home from my regiment, a footman used to pull off my boots while I fidgeted, and my mother looked on in adoration and wondered why other people didn't see me in the same light. They shielded me from work, but only just in time. A new age is dawning. The people are marching on us all. A powerful, health-giving storm is gathering. It is drawing near, and soon it'll be upon us, and it will drive away laziness, indifference, and prejudice against labor and rotten dullness from our society. I shall work. And in 25 or 30 years, every man will have to work. Everyone.
I shan't work.
You don't matter.
25 years' time, we shall all be dead, thank the Lord. In 2 or 3 years, time apoplexy will carry you off, or else I'll blow your brains out, my pet.
It's quite true. I never have worked. But after I came down from the university, I never stirred a finger or opened a book. I just read the papers. Here we are. I learned from the papers that there used to be one Dobrolubov, for instance. But what he wrote, I don't know. God only knows. There. Oh, they're calling me downstairs. Somebody's come to see me. I'll be back in a minute. Won't be long.
He's up to something.
Yes, he looked so pleased as he went out that I'm pretty certain he'll bring you a present in a moment.
How unpleasant.
Yes, it's awful. He's always doing silly things.
There stands a green oak by the sea, and a chain of bright gold is around it, and a chain of bright gold is around it. Da, 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 dee, da, da, dee, da, da, dee.
You're not very bright today, Masha.
Well,
Where are you off to?
home.
That's odd.
On a name day, too.
It doesn't matter. I'll come in the evening. Goodbye, dear. Many happy returns, though I've said it before. In the old days, when father was alive, every time we had a name day, 30 or 40 officers used to come, and there was lots of noise and fun. And today there's only a man and a half, and it's as quiet as a desert. Well, I'm off. I've got the hump today. I'm not at all cheerful, so just don't you mind me. Oh, we'll have a talk later on, but well, goodbye for the present, my dear. I'll go somewhere.
You are queer.
I understand you, Masha.
When a man talks philosophy, well, it is philosophy, or at any rate, sophistry. But when a woman or two women talk philosophy, it's all my eye.
What do you mean by that, you very awful man?
Oh, nothing. You came down on me before I could say help.
Don't cry.
Enter Anfisa and Ferapont with a cake.
This way, my dear. Oh, come in. Oh, your feet are clean. Oh, from the district council, from Mikhail Ivanovich Protopopov, a cake.
Thank you. Please thank him.
What?
Please thank him.
Oh,
Give him a pie, nurse.
Come on, Grandfather Ferapont Spirtanovich, come on.
I don't like this Mikhail Potapich or Ivanich Protopopov. We oughtn't to invite him here.
I never asked him.
It's all right.
Enter Chaputikin, followed by a soldier with a silver samovar. There's a rumble of dissatisfied surprise.
Oh,
A samovar. That's awful.
My dear Ivan Romanovich, what are you doing?
I told you so.
Ivan Romanovich, you are simply shameless.
My dear good girls, you are the only thing and the dearest thing I have in the world. I'll soon be 60. I'm an old man, a lonely, worthless old man. The only good thing in me is my love for you. And if it hadn't been for that, I would have been dead long ago. My dear little girl, I've known you since the day of your birth. I carried you in my arms. Loved your dear mother.
But your presents are so expensive.
Expensive presents. You really are. Take the samovar in there. Expensive presents.
Shirley goes into the dining room with the samovar.
My dear, there's a strange colonel come. He's taken off his coat already. Children, he's coming here. Irina, darling, you'll be a nice and polite little girl, won't you? Should have lunched a long time ago. Oh, Lord.
It must be Vershinin.
Enter Vershinin.
Lieutenant Colonel Vershinin.
I have the honor to introduce myself. My name is Vershinin. I'm very glad indeed to be able to come at last. How you've grown. Oh.
Please sit down. We're very glad you could come.
I am glad, very glad. But there are 3 sisters, surely. I remember 3 little girls. I forget your faces, but your father, Colonel Prosorov, used to have 3 little girls. I remember that perfectly. I saw them with my own eyes. Oh, how time does fly. Oh, dear, how it flies.
Alexander Ignatievich comes from Moscow.
From Moscow? Are you from Moscow?
Yes, that's so. Your father used to be in charge of a battery there, and I was an officer in the same brigade. I seem to recall your face a little.
I don't remember you.
Olga, come along. Lieutenant Colonel Vershinin comes from Moscow, as it happens.
I take it that you are Olga Sergeyevna, the eldest, and that you are Maria, and you are Irina, the youngest.
So you come from Moscow?
Yes, I went to school in Moscow and began my service there. I was there for a long time until at last I got my battery and moved over here, as you see. I don't really remember you. I only remember that there used to be 3 sisters. I remember your father well. I have only to shut my eyes to see him as he was. I used to come to your house in Moscow.
I used to think I remembered everybody, but
My name is Alexander Ignatievich.
Alexander Ignatievich, you've come from Moscow. That really is quite a surprise.
we're going to live there, you see.
We think we may be there this autumn. It's our native town. We were born there, an old Basmani road.
We've unexpectedly met a fellow countryman. I remember. Do you remember, Olga? They used to speak at home of a lovelorn major. Well, you were only a lieutenant then and in love with somebody, but for some reason they always called you a major for fun.
That's it. The lovelorn major. That's got it.
Well, you only wore mustaches then. You've grown older. You've grown older.
Yes, when they used to call me the lovelorn major, I was young and in love. I've grown out of both now.
But you haven't a single white hair yet. You're older, but you're not yet old.
I'm 42 anyway. Have you been away from Moscow long?
11 years. What are you crying for, Masha, you little fool? And I'm crying too.
Right. And where did you live?
Old Basmani Road.
Same as we.
Once I used to live in German Street. That was when the Red Barracks were my headquarters. There's an ugly bridge in between where the water rushes underneath. One gets melancholy when one is alone there. Here, the river is so wide and fine. It's a splendid river.
Yes, but it's so cold. It's very cold here. And the midges.
Oh, what are you saying? Here you've got such a fine, healthy Russian climate. You've a forest, a river, and birches. Dear, modest birches. I like them more than any other tree. It's good to live here. Only it's odd that the railway station should be 13 miles away. Nobody knows why.
I know why. Because if it was near, it wouldn't be far off. And if it's far off, it can't be near.
Funny man.
Now I know who you are. I remember.
I used to know your mother.
She was a good woman, rest her soul.
Mother is buried in Moscow.
At the Novodevichy cemetery.
No, I'm beginning to forget her face. Oh, we'll be forgotten in just the same way.
Yes, they'll forget us. It's our fate. It can't be helped. A time will come when everything that seems serious, significant, or very important to us will be forgotten or considered trivial. And the curious thing is that we can't possibly find out what will come to be regarded as great and important and what will be feeble or silly. Didn't the discoveries of Copernicus or Columbus, say, seem unnecessary and ludicrous at first? While wasn't it thought that some rubbish written by a fool held all the truth? And it may so happen that our present existence, with which we are so satisfied, will in time appear strange, inconvenient, stupid, unclean, perhaps even sinful.
Who knows? But on the other hand, they may call our life noble and honor its memory. We've abolished torture and capital punishment. We live in security, but how much suffering there is still.
There. The Baron will go without his dinner if you only let him talk philosophy.
Vasily Vasilievich, kindly leave me alone. You're very, very dull, you know.
There.
The sufferings we see today, there are so many of them, still indicate a certain moral improvement in society.
Yes, of course.
You said just now, Baron, that they may call our life noble, but we are very petty. Oh, see how little I am?
Oh, that's Andre playing, our brother.
He's the learned member of the family. I expect he will be a professor someday. Father was a soldier, but his son chose an academic career for himself.
It was father's wish.
Ooh, we ragged him today. We think he's a little in love.
To a local lady. She will probably come here today.
Oh, you should see the way she dresses. Oh, quite prettily, quite fashionably too, but oh, so badly. Some queer bright yellow skirt with a wretched little fringe and a red bodice, and oh, such a complexion. Andre isn't in love. After all, he has taste. He's simply making fun of us. I heard yesterday that she was going to marry Popov, the chairman of the local council. Well, that would do her nicely. Andre, come here, just for a minute, dear.
Enter Andre.
Oh, my brother Andrei Sergeyevich.
My name is Vershin.
Mine is Protsorov. You've come to take charge of the battery.
Just think, Alexander Ignatievich. Alexander Ignatievich comes from Moscow.
That's all right. Now my little sisters won't give you any rest.
I've already managed to bore your sisters.
Just look what a nice little photograph frame Andre gave me today. He made it himself.
Yes, it's a thing that...
And he made that frame there on the piano as well.
He's got a degree and plays the violin and cuts all sorts of things out of wood and is really a domestic admirable Crichton. Admirable Crichton. Don't go away, Andre. He's got into a habit of always going away. Come here.
Masha turned to take his arms and laughingly lead him back.
Come on, come on.
Please, leave me alone.
Oh, you are funny, Alexander Ignatievich. He used to be called the Lovelorn Major, but he never minded.
Not the least.
I'd like to call you the Lovelorn Fiddler.
Or the Lovelorn Professor.
He's in love. Little Andre is in love.
Bravo, bravo, encore. Little Andre is in love.
Nature only brought us into this world that we should love.
Oh, that's enough, quite enough. I couldn't sleep all night and now I can't quite find my feet, so to speak. I read until 4 o'clock, then tried to sleep, but nothing happened. I thought about one thing and another, and then it dawned and the sun crawled into my bedroom. This summer, while I'm here, I want to translate a book from the English.
Do you read English?
Yes, Father, rest his soul, educated us almost violently. It may seem funny and silly, but it's nevertheless true that after his death, I began to fill out and get rounder, as if my body had had some great pressure. Thanks to Father, my sisters and I know French, German, and English, and Irina knows Italian as well, but we pay dearly for it all.
A knowledge of 3 languages is an unnecessary luxury in this town. It isn't even a luxury, but a sort of useless extra, like a 6th finger. We know a lot too much.
Well, I say, you know a lot too much. I don't think there can really be a town so dull and stupid as to have no place for a clever, cultured person. Let us suppose even that among the 100,000 inhabitants of this backward and uneducated town, there are only 3 persons like yourself. It stands to reason that you won't be able to conquer that dark mob around you. Little by little, as you grow older, you will be bound to give way and lose yourselves in this crowd of 100,000 human beings. Their life will suck you up in itself. But still, you won't disappear having influenced nobody. Later on, others like you will come, perhaps 6 of them, perhaps 12, and so on, until at last your sort will be in the majority. In 200 or 300 years' time, life on this earth will be unimaginably beautiful and wonderful. Mankind needs such a life, and if it is not ours today, then we must look ahead for it. Wait, think, prepare for it. We must see and know more than our fathers and grandfathers saw and knew. And you complain that you know too much.
Stay to lunch.
Yes, all that ought to be written down.
You say that many years later on, life on this earth will be beautiful and wonderful. That's true. But to share in it now, even through a distance, we must prepare by work.
Yes. What a lot of flowers you have. It's a beautiful flat. I envy you. I spent my whole life in rooms with 2 chairs, 1 sofa, and fires which always smoke. I've never had flowers like these in my life. Well, well.
Yes, we must work. You're probably thinking to yourself, the German lets himself go. But I assure you, I'm Russian. I can't even speak German. My father belonged to the Orthodox Church.
I often wonder, suppose we could begin life over again, knowing what we were doing. Suppose we could use one life already ended as a sort of rough draft for another. I think that every one of us would try, more than anything else, not to repeat himself. At the very least, he would rearrange his manner of life. He would make sure of rooms like these with flowers and light. I have a wife and 2 daughters. My wife's health is delicate, and so on and so on. And if I had to begin life all over again, I would not marry. No.
Enter Kollegin in a regulation jacket.
Dear sister, allow me to congratulate you on the day sacred of your good angel, and to wish you sincerely from the bottom of my heart good health and all that one can wish for a girl of your years. And then let me offer you this book as a present. It is the history of our high school during the last 50 years. It's written by myself. The book is worthless and written because I had nothing to do. But read it all the same. Good day, gentlemen. My name is Collegian. I'm a master of the local high school. In this book, you will find a list of all those who have taken the full course of our high school during 50 years. Jesse quod putui faciant melior potens.
But you gave me one of these at Easter.
I couldn't have, surely. Well, you better give it back to me in that case, or else give it to the colonel. Take it, Colonel. You'll read it someday when you're bored.
Thank you. I am extremely happy to have made the acquaintance of...
No, must you go? No, not yet.
You'll stop and have lunch with us. Please do.
Oh, yes, please.
I seem to have dropped in on your name day. Forgive me, I didn't know, and I didn't offer you my congratulations.
Today is Sunday, the day of rest. So let us rest and rejoice, each in a manner compatible with his age and dispositions. The carpets will have to be taken off for the summer and put away till winter. Persian powder or naphthalene. The Romans were healthy because they knew how to work and how to rest. They had men started in opere sano. Their life ran along certain unrecognized patterns. Our director said, the chief thing about each life is its pattern. All the lives is pattern has lost itself. And it's just the same in our daily lives. Masha loves me. My wife loves me. And you want to put the window curtains away with the carpets. I'm feeling awfully pleased with life today. Masha, we've got to be at the director's table. They're getting up for work for the pedagogues and their families.
I shan't go.
My dear Masha, why not?
I'll tell you later. Oh, all right, I'll go. Please stand back.
No. And then we're suspending meeting at the directors. In spite of his ill health, that man tries above everything else to be social. splendid, illuminating personality. A wonderful man. After yesterday's committee, he said to me, "I'm tired. Fyodor Ilyich, I'm tired. Your clock is 7 minutes past." Yeah, yes, he said, "I'm tired."
Let's go and have lunch. There's to be a masterpiece of baking.
Oh, my dear Olga, my dear. Yesterday, I was working till 11 o'clock at night and got awfully tired. Today, I'm quite happy. My dear.
Pie, splendid.
Only mind, you're not to drink anything today. Do you hear? It's bad for you.
Oh, it's all right. I haven't been drunk for 2 years, and it's all the same anyway.
You're not to dare to drink all the same. Another dull evening at the director's. Confound it.
Oh, I shouldn't go if I were you. It's quite simple.
Don't go.
Yes, don't go. It's a cursed, unbearable life. Ugh.
It's not so bad.
There.
Oh, Vasily Vasilyevich, that's enough. Be quiet.
There.
Your health, Colonel. I'm a pedagogue and not quite at home here. I'm Masha's husband. She's a good sort. A very good sort.
I'll have some of this black vodka. Your health. I'm very comfortable here.
Masha is out of sorts today. She married when she was 18, when he seemed to her the wisest of men. And now it's different. He's the kindest man, but not the wisest.
Andre, when are you coming?
1 minute.
What are you thinking about?
I don't like this Solioni of yours, and I'm afraid of him. He only says silly things.
He's a queer man. I'm sorry for him, though he vexes me. I think he's shy. When there's just the two of us, he's quite all right and very good company. When other people are about, he's rough and hectoring. Don't let's go in. Let them have their meal without us. Let me stay with you. What are you thinking of? You're 20. I'm not yet 30. How many years are there left to us with their long, long lines of days filled with my love for you?
Nikolai Lvovich, don't speak to me of love.
Oh, I have this great thirst for life, struggle, and work. And this thirst has united with my love for you, Irina. And you're so beautiful, and life seems so beautiful to me. What are you thinking of?
You say that life is beautiful. Yes, if only it seems so. The life of us three hasn't been beautiful yet. It has been stifling us as if it was weeds. I'm crying. I shouldn't. We must work. That is why we are unhappy and look at the world so sadly. We don't know what work is. Our parents despised work.
Enter Natalia Ivanova, where she wears a pink dress and a green sash. You're muted, Natalia Ivanova.
They're already at lunch. I'm late. I think my hair's done all right. Dear Irina Sergeyevna, I congratulate you. You've so many visitors, I'm really ashamed. How do you do, Baron?
Here's Natalia Ivanova. How are you, dear?
Happy returns. I'm awfully shy. You've so many people here.
All our friends. You're wearing a green sash, my dear. You shouldn't.
Is it a sign of something?
No, it simply doesn't go well, and it looks queer.
Yes, but it isn't really green. It's too dull for that.
Goes into the dining room with Olya. They have all sat down to lunch in the dining room. The sitting room is empty.
I wish you a nice fiance, Irina. It's quite time you were married.
Natalia Ivanovna, I wish you the same.
Natalia Ivanovna has a fiance already.
Oh.
Let's all get drunk and make life purple for once.
You just lost 3 good contact marks.
This is a nice drink. What's it made of?
Black beetles.
Oh,
Disgusting.
There is to be a roast turkey and a sweet apple pie for dinner. Thank goodness I can spend all day in the evening at home. You'll come in the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
please, may I come in the evening?
Please do.
They don't stand on ceremony here.
Nature only brought us into the world that we should laugh.
Please don't.
Enter Fedotic and Rode with a large basket of flowers. They're lunching already.
Lunching? Yes, so they are.
Wait a minute. Takes a picture. That's one. No, just a moment. That's 2. Now we're ready. They take the basket into the dining room and they have a noisy reception.
Congratulations and best wishes.
Hmm.
Lovely weather today. Simply perfect. Was out walking with the high school students all morning. I take their drills.
You may move, Irina Sergeyevna. You look well today. Here's a humming top, by the way. It's got a lovely note.
Oh, how awfully nice.
There stands a green oak by the sea, and a chain of bright gold is around it, and a chain of bright gold is around it. Oh, what am I saying that for? I've had those words running in my head all day.
There are 13 at table.
Surely you don't believe in that superstition?
If there are 13 at table, then it means there are lovers present. It isn't you, Ivan Romanovich. Hang it all.
I'm a hardened sinner, but I really don't see why Natalia Ivanov should blush.
Natasha runs out into the sitting room, followed by
Well,
Andre.
Don't pay any attention to them. Wait, do stop, please. Do stop, please.
I'm shy. I don't know what what's the matter with me, and they're all laughing at me. It wasn't nice of me to leave the table like that, but I can't.
My dear, I beg you, I implore you not to excite yourself. I assure you they're only joking. They're kind people. My dear, good girl, they're all kind and sincere people, and they like both you and me. Come here to the window. They can see us here.
I'm so unaccustomed to meeting people.
Oh, your youth, your splendid, beautiful youth, my darling. Don't be so excited. Believe me, believe me. I'm so happy. My soul is full of love, of ecstasy. They don't see us. They can't. Why? Why or when did I fall in love with you? Oh, I can't understand anything, my dear. My pure darling, be my wife. I love you as never before.
They kissed. 2 officers come in and, seeing the lovers kiss, stop in astonishment. We're not going to take a break here. We're going to take one break after Act 2. So moving on to Act 2, scene as before. It is 8 p.m. Somebody is heard playing a concertina outside in the street. There is no fire. Natalia Ivanova enters in an indoor dress carrying a candle. She stops by the door, which leads into Andrei's room.
What are you doing, Andre? Are you reading? It's nothing, only isn't there any fire?
What are you doing, Natasha?
I was looking to see if there wasn't a fire. It's Shrovetide, and the servant is simply beside herself. I must look out that something doesn't happen. When I came to the dining room yesterday, midnight, there was a candle burning. I couldn't get her to tell me who had lighted it. What's the time?
8:15.
And Olga and Irina aren't in yet. The poor things are still at work. Olga at the teacher's council and Irina at the telegraph office. I said to your sister this morning, Irina, darling, you must take care of yourself, but she pays no attention. Did you say it was 8:15? I'm afraid little Bobby is quite ill. Why is he so cold? He was feverish yesterday, but today he's quite cold. I'm so frightened.
All right, Natasha, the boy is well.
Still, I think we ought to put him on a diet. I'm so afraid. And the entertainers were to be here after 9. They'd better not come, Audrey.
I don't know. After all, they were asked.
This morning, when the little boy woke up and saw me, he suddenly smiled. That means he knew me. Good morning, Bobby, I said. Good morning, darling. And he laughed. Children understand. They understand very well. So I'll tell them, Andre, dear, not to receive the entertainers.
But what about my sisters? This is their flat.
They'll do as I want them. They're so kind. I ordered sour milk for supper. The doctor says you must eat sour milk and nothing else, or you won't get thin. Bobby is so cold. I'm afraid his room is too cold for him. It would be nice to put him into another room till the warm weather comes. Irina's room, for instance, is just right for a child. It's dry and has the sun all day. I must tell her she can share Olga's room. It isn't as if she was at home in the daytime. She only sleeps here. Andre, darling, why are you so silent?
I was just thinking, there is really nothing to say.
Yes, there was something I wanted to tell you. Oh, yes. Farapont has come from the council offices. He wants to see you.
Call him here.
Natasha goes out. Andre reads his book, stooping over the candle she has left behind. Farapont enters. He wears a tattered old coat with his collar up. His ears are muffled.
Good morning, grandfather. What have you to say?
The chairman sends a book and some documents or other here.
Thank you. It's all right. Why couldn't you come earlier? It's past 8 now.
What?
I say you've come late. It's past 8.
Yes, I came when it was still light, but they wouldn't let me in. They said you were busy. Well, what was I to do? If you're busy, you're busy, and I'm in no hurry. What?
Nothing. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm not supposed to go to work, but I'll come all the same and do some work. It's dull at home. Oh, my dear old man, how strangely life changes and how it deceives. Today, out of sheer boredom, I took up this book, Old University Lectures, and I couldn't help laughing. My God, I'm secretary of the local district council, the council which has Protopopov for its chairman. Yes, I'm the secretary, and the summit of my ambitions is to become a member of the council. I, to be a member of the local district council, I, who dream every night that I'm a professor of Moscow University, a famous scholar of whom all Russia is proud.
I can't tell. I'm hard of hearing.
If you weren't, I don't suppose I should talk to you. I've got to talk to somebody, and my wife doesn't understand me, and I'm a bit afraid of my sisters. I don't know why, unless it is that they may make fun of me and make me feel ashamed. I don't drink. I don't like public houses, but How I should like to be sitting just now in Tiestov's place in Moscow, or at the Great Moscow, old fellow.
Moscow. That's where a contractor was once telling that some merchants or other were eating pancakes. One ate 40 pancakes and he went and died, he was saying. Either 40 or 50. I forget which.
In Moscow, you can sit in an enormous restaurant where you don't know anybody and where nobody knows you, and you don't feel all the same that you're a stranger. And here you know everybody, and everybody knows you, and you're a stranger, and a lonely stranger.
What? And the same contractor was telling, perhaps he was lying, that there was a cable stretching right across Moscow.
What for?
I can tell, the contractor said so.
Rubbish. Were you ever in Moscow?
No, God did not lead me there. Shall I go?
You may go. Goodbye. Goodbye. You can come tomorrow and fetch these documents. Go along. He's gone. Yes, yes.
Fetches him out and slowly goes into the room. Behind the scenes, the nurse is singing a lullaby to the child. Masha and Vershina come in. While they talk, a maidservant lights candles and lamps.
I don't know. Of course, habit counts for a great deal. But after Father's death, for instance, it took us a long time to get used to the absence of orderlies. But apart from habit, it seems to me, in all fairness, that however it may be in other towns, the best and most educated people are army men.
Thirsty. I should like some tea.
Oh, they'll bring some soon. I was given in marriage when I was 18, and I was afraid of my husband because he was a teacher and I'd only just left school. He then seemed to me frightfully wise and learned and important. And now, unfortunately, that has changed.
Yes.
I don't speak of my husband. I've grown used to him, but civilians in general are so often coarse, impolite, uneducated. Their rudeness offends me. It angers me. I suffer when I see that a man isn't quite sufficiently refined or delicate or polite. I simply suffer agonies when I happen to be among schoolmasters, my husband's colleagues.
Yes. It seems to me that civilians and army men are equally interesting in this town at any rate. It's all the same. If you listen to a member of the local intelligentsia, whether he's to civilian or military, he will tell you that he's sick of his wife, sick of his house, sick of his estate, sick of his horses. We Russians are extremely gifted in the direction of thinking on an exalted plane. But tell me, why do we aim so low in real life? Why?
Why?
Why is a Russian sick of his children, sick of his wife? And why are his wife and children sick of him?
You're a little downhearted today.
Perhaps I am. I haven't had any dinner. I've had nothing since the morning. My daughter is a little unwell, and when my girls are ill, I get very anxious, and my conscience tortures me because they have such a mother. Oh, if you had seen her today. What a trivial personality. We began quarreling at 7 a.m, and at 9 I slammed the door and went out. I never speak of her. It's strange that I bear my complaints to you alone. Don't be angry with me. I haven't anybody but you. Nobody at all.
Oh, what a noise in the oven. Just before Father's death, there was a noise in the pipe, just like that.
Are you superstitious?
Yes.
That's strange. You are a splendid, wonderful woman. Splendid, wonderful. It is dark in here, but I see your sparkling eyes.
There's more light here.
I love you, love you, love you. I love your eyes, your movements. I dream of them. Splendid, wonderful woman.
Oh, when you talk to me like that, I laugh. I don't know why. For I'm afraid. Oh, don't repeat it, please. No. Go on. Oh, it's all the same to me. Oh, somebody's coming. Let's talk about something else.
And Tusenbach come in through the dining room.
My surname is really triple. I'm called Baron Tusenbach, Krone Altschauer, but I'm Russian and Orthodox, the same as you. There's very little German left in me, unless perhaps it is the patience and the obstinacy with which I bore you. I see you home every night.
How tired I am.
And I'll come to the telegraph office to see you home every day for 10 or 20 years until you drive me away. Oh, is that you? How do you do?
Well, I am home at last. A lady came in today to telegraph her brother in Saratov that her son died today, and she couldn't remember the address anyhow. So she sent the telegram without an address, just to Saratov. She was crying. And for some reason or other, I was rude to her. I've no time, I said. It was so stupid. Are the entertainers coming tonight?
Yes.
I want to rest. I am tired.
When you come home from your work, you seem so young and so unfortunate.
I am tired. No, I don't like the telegraph office. I don't like it.
You've grown thinner. You look younger. Your face has become like a boy's.
Oh, that's the way she does her hair.
I must find another job. This one won't do for me. What I wanted, what I hoped to get, just that is lacking here. Labor without poetry, without ideas.
A knock on the floor.
The doctor is knocking. Will you knock, dear? I can't. I'm tired.
Tusenbach knocks.
He'll come in a minute. Something ought to be done. Yesterday, the doctor and Andre played cards at the club and lost money. Andre seems to have lost 200 rubles.
What can we do now?
He lost money a fortnight ago. He lost money in December. Perhaps if he lost everything, we should go away from this town. Oh my God, I dream of Moscow every night. I'm just like a lunatic. We go there in June, and before June, there's still February, March, April, May. Nearly half a year.
Only Natasha mustn't get to know of these losses.
I expect it will be all the same to her.
Here he is. Has he paid his rent?
No, he's been here 8 months and hasn't paid a kopeck. Seems to have forgotten.
What dignity in his pose.
Why are you so silent, Alexander Ignatievich?
I don't know. I want some tea. Half my life for a tumbler of tea. I haven't had anything since the morning.
Irina Sergeyevna,
What is it?
please come here. Minutes is easy. I can't do without you.
Well, if we can't have any tea, let's philosophize at any rate.
Ah, yes, let's. What about?
About what? Let us meditate about life as it will be after our time. For example, in 200 or 300 years.
Well, after our time, people will fly about in balloons and the cut of one's coat will change. Perhaps they'll discover a sixth sense and develop it. But life will remain the same, laborious, mysterious, and happy. And in 1,000 years' time, people will still be sighing, life is hard. And at the same time, they'll be just as afraid of death and unwilling to meet it as we are.
How can I put it? It seems to me that everything on earth must change, little by little, and is already changing under our very eyes. After 200 or through or 300 years, after 1,000, the actual time doesn't matter. A new and happy age will begin. We, of course, shall not take part in it, but we live and work and even suffer today that it should come. We create it, and in that one object is our destiny, and if you like, our happiness.
What is it?
I don't know. I've been laughing all day ever since morning.
I finished my education at the same point of view as you. I have not studied in universities. I read a lot, but I cannot choose my books, and perhaps what I read is not at all what I should. But the longer I love, the more I want to know. My hair is turning white. I'm nearly an old man now, but I know so little. Oh, so little. And I think I know the things that matter most, that are the most real. I know them well. And I wish I could make you understand that there is no happiness for us, that there should not and cannot be. We must only work, and happiness is only for our distant posterity. If not for me, then for the descendants of my descendants.
Dodek and Rode come into the dining room. They sit and sing softly, strumming on a guitar.
According to you, one should not even think about happiness, but suppose I am happy.
No.
We do not seem to understand each other. How can I convince you? Yes, laugh. Not only after 2 or 3 centuries, but in 1,000,000 years, life will still be as it was. Life does not change. It remains forever following its own laws, which do not concern us, or which, at any rate, you will never find out. Migrant birds, cranes, for example, fly, and whatever thoughts, low or high, enter their heads, they will still fly and not know why or where. They fly and will continue to fly whatever philosophers come to life among them. They may philosophize as much as they like, only they will fly.
Still, is there a meaning?
A meaning? Oh, now the snow is falling. What meaning?
It seems to me that a man must have faith, or must search for a faith, or his life will be empty. To live in and not to know why the cranes fly, why babies are born, why there are stars in the sky. Either you must know why you live, or everything's trivial, not worth a straw.
Yeah, I am sorry that my youth is gone.
Well, Gogol says, life in this world is a dull matter, my masters.
And I say it's difficult to argue with you, my masters. Hang it all.
Balzac was married at Berdichev. That's worth making a note of. Balzac was married at Berdichev.
Balzac was married at Berdichev.
The die is cast. I've handed in my resignation, Maria Sergeyevna.
So I've heard. I don't see what good it is. I don't like civilians.
Oh, never mind. I'm not handsome. What use am I as a soldier? Well, it makes no difference. I shall work. If only just once in my life I could work so that I could go home in the evening, fall exhausted on my bed, and go to sleep at once. Workmen, I suppose, do sleep soundly.
I brought some colored pencils for you at Pitskov's in the Moscow Road just now, and here is a little knife.
You have got into the habit of behaving to me as if I'm a little girl, but I am grown up. How lovely.
And I brought myself a knife. Look at it. One blade, another third, and ear scoop, scissors, nail cleaners.
Doctor, how old are you?
I, 32.
I'll show you another kind of patience. Lays out cards. A samovar is brought in. Anfisa tends to it. A little later, Natasha enters and helps by the table. Soloni arrives and, after greeting, sits by the table.
What a wind.
Yes, I'm tired of winter. I've already forgotten what summer's like.
It's coming out, I see. We're going to Moscow.
No, it won't come out. Look, the 8 was on the 2 of spades. That means you won't go to Moscow.
Smallpox is raging here.
Oh, Masha, have some tea, little mother. Oh, please have some, sir. Excuse me, but I've forgotten your name.
Bring some here, nurse. I shan't go over there.
Nurse.
I'm coming, I'm coming.
Children at the breast understand perfectly. I said, "Good morning, Bobby." "Good morning, dear." And he looked at me in quite an unusual way. You think it's only the mother in me that is speaking. I assure you that isn't so. He's a wonderful child.
If he was my child, I'd roast him on a frying pan and eat him.
Vulgar, ill-bred man.
He's lucky who doesn't notice whether it's winter now or summer. I think that if I were in Moscow, I shouldn't mind about the weather.
A few days ago, I was reading the prison diary of a French minister. He'd been sentenced on account of the Panama scandal. With what joy, what delight he speaks of birds he saw through the prison windows, which he'd never noticed while he was a minister. Now, of course, that he's at liberty, he notices birds no more than he did before. When you go to live in Moscow, you'll not notice it in just the same way. There can be no happiness for us. It only exists in our wishes.
Where are the pastries?
Siliani has eaten them.
All of them?
There's a letter for you.
For me? For my daughter? Oh, yes. Of course. I will go quietly. Excuse me, Maria Sergeyevna. I shan't have any tea. That eternal story.
What is it? Is it a secret?
My wife has poisoned herself again. I must go. I'll go out quietly. It's all awfully unpleasant. My dear, my splendid, good woman. I'll go this way, quietly.
Where has he gone? And I've served tea. Oh, what a man.
Be quiet. You bother so one can't have a moment's peace. Oh, I'm tired of you, old woman.
Oh, my dear, why are you affected?
Anfisa,
And Visa, he sits there.
Let me sit down. You are spreading your cards out. Have some tea.
You are cross, Masha.
Well, if I am cross, then don't talk to me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch her. Don't touch her.
Oh, you're 60, but you're like a boy, always up to some beastly nonsense.
Dear Masha, why use such expressions? With your beautiful exterior, you would be simply fascinating in good society. I tell you so directly. If it wasn't for your words. Je vous prie, pardonne-moi, Marie, mais vous avez des manières et peu grossières.
Give me, there's some cognac, I think.
Il paraît que mon boy déjà ne dort pas. He has awakened. He isn't well today. I'll go to him. Excuse me.
Where has Alexander Ignatievich gone?
Home. Something extraordinary has happened to his wife again.
Dusenbach goes to Siliani with a cognac flask in his hands.
You go on sitting by yourself, thinking of something, goodness knows what. Come, let's make peace. Let's have some cognac. I expect I'll have to play the piano all night, some rubbish most likely. Well, so be it.
Why make peace? I haven't quarreled with you.
You always make me feel as if something had taken place between us. You've got a character, you must admit.
I am strange, but who is not? Don't be angry, Aleko.
Yeah. What's Aleko got to do with it?
When I'm with one man, I behave just like everybody else, but in company, I'm dull and shy and talk all manner of rubbish. But I'm more honest and more honorable than very, very many people, and I can prove it.
I often get angry with you. You always fasten on me in company, but I like you all the same. I'm going to drink my fill tonight, whatever happens. Drink now.
Drink. I never had anything against you, Baron, but my character is like Lermontov's. I even rather resemble Lermontov, they say.
I've sent in my resignation. Basta! I've been thinking about it for 5 years, and at last I made up my mind. I shall work.
Do not be angry, Aleko. Forget thy dreams of yore.
While he is speaking, Andre enters quietly with a book and sits by the table.
I shall work.
And the food was also real Caucasian onion soup, and for a roast, some chatma.
Chatma isn't meat at all, but a plant, something like an onion.
No, my angel, chahatma isn't onion, but roast mutton.
And I tell you, chahartma is a sort of onion.
And I tell you, chahatma is mutton.
And I tell you, charemsha is a sort of onion.
What's the use of arguing it? You've never even been in the Caucasus and never ate any chahatma.
I never ate it because I hate it. It smells like garlic.
Please, I ask you.
When are the entertainers coming?
They promised for about 9. That is quite soon.
Oh, my house, my new built house, newly built of maple wood.
It wasn't like a sieve.
Hang it all. Mwah! Let's drink. Andre, old boy, let's drink with you. And I'll go with you, Andre, to the University of Moscow.
One. There are 2 universities in Moscow.
There's one university in Moscow.
2, I tell you.
Don't care if there are 3.
There are 2 universities in Moscow. There are 2 universities in Moscow, the old one and the new one. And if you don't like to listen, if my words annoy you, then I need not speak. I can even go into another room.
Bravo! Bravo! Come on now, I'm going to play. Funny man, Solioni.
The Baron's drunk. The Baron's drunk. The Baron's drunk.
Natasha comes in.
Ivan Romanovich.
Says something to Chibudakin, then goes out quietly. Chibudakin touches Tuzenbach on the shoulder and whispers something to him.
What is it?
It's time for us to go. Goodbye.
Good night. It's time we went.
But really, the entertainers?
There won't be any entertainers. You see, dear, Natasha says that Bobby isn't quite well, and so, in a word, I don't care, and it's absolutely all one to me.
Bobby ill.
What is she thinking of? Well, if they're sent home, I suppose they must go. Oh, Bobby's all right. It's she herself. Oh, here, her little bourgeoise.
Andre goes to the room behind the right-hand door. Chibudakin follows him. In the dining room, they are saying goodbye. What a shame. I was expecting to spend the evening here. But of course, if the little baby is ill, I'll bring him some toys tomorrow.
I went after dinner today because I thought I was going to dance all night. It's only 9 o'clock now.
Well, let's go into the street. We can talk there, and then we can settle things.
Goodbye, good nights are heard. Tuzenbach's merry laughter is heard. All go out. Anfisa and her maid clear the table and put out the lights. The nurse sings. Andre, wearing an overcoat and a hat and Jabutickin, enters silently.
I never managed to get married because my life flashed by like lightning, and because I was madly in love with your mother, who was married.
One shouldn't marry. One shouldn't because it's dull.
So there I am in my loneliness. Say what you will. Loneliness is a terrible thing, old fellow. Though, really, of course, absolutely doesn't matter.
Let's be quicker.
Well, what are you in such a hurry for? We shall be in time.
I'm afraid my wife may stop me.
Ah.
I shan't play tonight. I shall only sit and look on. I don't feel very well. What am I to do for my asthma, Ivan Romanovich?
Don't ask me. I don't remember, old fellow. I don't know.
Let's go to the kitchen.
They go out. A bell rings. Then a second time. Voices and laughter are heard. Rena.
What's that?
Anfisa. The entertainers.
Tell them there's nobody at home, nurse. They must excuse us.
Anfisa goes out. Irina walks about the room deep in thought. She is excited. Solioni enters.
There's nobody here. Where are they all?
They've gone home.
How strange. Are you here alone?
Yes, alone. Goodbye.
Just now, I behaved tactlessly with insufficient reserve. But you are not like all the others. You are noble and pure. You can see the truth. You alone can understand me. I love you. Deeply, beyond measure, I love you.
Goodbye. Go away.
I cannot live without you. Oh, my happiness. Oh, joy. Wonderful, marvelous, glorious eyes, such as I have never seen before.
Stop it, Vasily Vasilyevich.
This is the first time I speak to you of love, and it is as if I am no longer on the earth, but on another planet. Well, never mind. I can't make you love me by force, of course, but I don't intend to have any more favored rituals. No, I swear to you by all the saints, I shall kill my rival. Oh, beautiful one.
Natasha enters with a candle. She looks in through one door, then through another, and goes past the door leading to her husband's room.
Here's Andre. Let him go on reading. Excuse me, Vasily Vasilyevich. I didn't know you were here. I'm engaged in domesticities.
It's all the same to me. Goodbye.
You're so tired. My poor dear girl. If you only went to bed earlier.
Is Bobby asleep?
Yes, but restlessly. By the way, dear, I wanted to tell you, but either you weren't at home or I was busy. I think Bobby's present nursery is cold and damp, and your room would be so nice for the child, my dear darling girl. Do change over to Olga's for a bit.
Where?
The bells of a troika are heard as it drives up to the house.
You and Olga can share a room for the time being, and Bobby can have yours. He's such a darling today. I said to him, Bobby, you're mine, mine. And he looked at me with his dear little eyes.
A bell rings.
It must be Olga. How late she is.
The maid enters and whispers to Natasha.
Protopopov? What a queer man to do such a thing. Protopopov's come and wants me to go for a drive with him in his Troika. How funny these men are. Somebody has come. Suppose I did go and have a half an hour's drive. Say I shan't be long.
Bell rings.
Somebody's ringing. It must be Olga.
Exit. The maid runs out. Irina sits deep in thought. Kollegin and Olga enter, followed by Vershinin. Kollegin, John, are you there? Ah, well, there you are, and you said there was going to be a party.
Queer. I went away not long ago, half an hour ago, and they were expecting entertainers.
They've all gone.
Where has she gone? And what's for the brother breaking for downstairs in his toy gun? Who does he expect?
Don't ask questions. I'm tired.
Oh, you're all Lucy's.
My committee meeting it's only just over. I'm tired out. Oh, chairwoman is ill, so I had to take her place. Oh, my head is aching. Andrei lost 200 rubles at cards yesterday. The whole town is talking about it.
So, yes, my meeting tired me too.
My wife took it into her head to frighten me just now by nearly poisoning herself. It's all right now, and I'm glad I can rest now. But perhaps we ought to go away. Well, my best wishes, Fyodor Ilyich. Let's go somewhere together. I can't. I absolutely can't stop at home. Come on.
I'm tired. I won't go. I'm tired. My wife has gone home.
I suppose so.
Goodbye. The rest will be tomorrow and the day after. Best wishes. I should like some tea. I'm looking forward to spending the whole evening in pleasant company and balancing home news stamp. Choosing a face after each action.
Then I'll go somewhere by myself.
Exit with Kollegin whistling.
Oh, I've such a headache. Andrei has been losing money. The whole town is talking. I'll go and lie down. I'm free tomorrow. Oh my God, what a mercy. I'm free tomorrow. I'm free the day after. Oh, my head, my head.
They've all gone. Nobody's left.
Concertina is being played in the street. The nurse sings.
I'll be back in half an hour. I'm only going for a little drive.
To Moscow. Moscow, Moscow.
End of Act 2, and we will take just a brief break here. Let's say 5 minutes, start again at 8:42 Eastern time. Just thank you all very much. John Esposito, I was having some trouble with your sound. I just would want to see what was going on, because before it seemed okay, and then we just had some trouble with it. But how are you?
Can you hear me?
Well,
Now,
Yes.
now we can.
That's a little better. When you're closer, it's better.
Yeah, I think I was a
Yeah.
little too far away.
No, there's still a problem.
Well, it's going to be as good as it is.
Uh-huh.
I think
Best I could do right
your
Can you
mic
hear?
is directional. So when you turn your head, there's
Yeah,
it's like,
okay,
yeah.
right, okay. It's just the reading and the looking at the same time.
yeah, no, that is a
Yeah,
challenge.
turn my head when I read because I have a phone and a thing. All right, so I'll try to make sure that I'm close up.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
That sounds better now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm in Act 4, but I can't figure out where my entrance is.
Unless it says off before you speak, I would guess. So let me see where.
Page 127, I'm speaking.
Yeah, well, it's
Oh, and on page 115.
Are we on a break?
Yeah, we're on a break. We'll be back in like about, yeah, at 8:42, we're going to restart again.
Okay.
Just taking 5 minutes. I mean, well,
Eleanor, you're in Act 3. You're in Act 3.
I know, but I'm focusing on Act 4 because
Oh,
where I don't know where to come in and go out. All of
let me see if I can help you. I'll find it. I'll help you.
I mean, because that's one of the things about how the play goes is that they're in these things and people are sort of like in the first act where people
It
sort
describes, it usually says they enter sometimes before they even talk for a while. But all right, hold on.
So my first thing in Act 4 is page 115, and my second thing in Act 4 is page 127, and in neither time do I know when I enter.
Well, then I would say you just come in right before you speak, because if it hasn't been clearly defined, then I think that's probably a good way to judge it.
That's what I will do.
So, I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I don't know, now that I'm like, yeah, almost 60 now, and I've heard it. It's like, oh, they're talking about like 100 years ago. It's like when I first heard Chekhov, we weren't 100 years away from him now. Now it's like over 100 years, and all this sort of talk about, oh yeah, things are going to get so much better in the future. It's sort of like, really? You really think so?
Things have gotten better in a lot of ways from their perspective, from the perspective of people living the early 20th century, I'd say, even though
yes,
yeah, for all of the
Yeah.
problems that capitalism has brought us, like modern medicine, pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
10 out of 10.
Modern medicine, great. Our U.S. healthcare system, not so great.
Yeah.
So is the problem. But
Well, Tusenbach is right. We'll just keep saying life is hard.
yes.
Actually, Eleanor, I figured it out. All of your lines say at the window, but it's an outdoor scene. So presumably you are opening the window and are talking from the window.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
I only got my script a few minutes before the start time, so I'm still figuring. I'm cold reading.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well, it is instant Shakespeare, and I apologize, and I apologize to Eduardo for not getting the invite to him the right way and for doing it. So yeah, thank you all for doing this in spite of the difficulties.
I told you earlier that I was okay with doing the cold reading.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Any tips you can give me on what's coming that might help me to give a better performance? If I had been more familiar, I will gratefully receive.
I mean, I think
You're the lady of the house now.
He's having an affair.
yeah.
Right.
Yes, having an affair.
That's very significant. The
Right, you're having an affair and you're cheating on your husband.
Protopopov.
Right, and you're also running the roost there.
So
Picking people out.
my going out in the troika with him was the start of something more, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
shows. Anyway, so it is now 8:42. So let's. There's still 2 acts to go, and to see will they get to Moscow.
Oh, the suspense is killing me.
Act 3. The room shared by Olga and Irina. Beds are screened off on the right and left. It is past 2 a.m. Behind the stage, a fire alarm is ringing. It has apparently been going for some time. Nobody in the house has gone to bed yet. Masha is lying on a sofa dressed as usual in black. Enter Olga and Anfisa. Anfisa, Jackie, are you there? We were just having a quick break, but
Nurse, nice.
where's the nice? Sorry.
Do you need another Anfisa?
You could read it, Paul.
Now they are downstairs, sitting on the stairs. I said to them, won't you come up? I said, you can't go on like this. And they simply cried, we don't know where our father is. They said, he may be burnt up by now. What an idea. And in the yard, there are some people also undressed.
Here, take this gray dress and this blouse as well. Take the skirt too, nurse. Oh my God, how awful it is. The whole of the Kirasnovsky road seems to burn down. Oh, take this and oh, the poor Vershinans are so frightened. Their house is nearly burnt. They ought to come here for the night. They shouldn't be allowed to go home. Poor Fedotik is completely burnt out. There's nothing left.
Could you call Farapont, Olga dear? I can hardly manage.
Oh, they'll never answer. Oh, come here, whoever there is.
Through the open door can be seen a window red with flame. A fire engine is heard passing by the house.
How awful this is, and how I'm sick of it. Oh, take these things down. The Kolotlin girls are down below, and let them have them. This too.
Yes, in the year 12, Moscow is burning too. Oh my God, the Frenchmen were surprised.
Go on, go on.
Yes.
Nurse, dear, let them have everything. We don't want anything. Give it all to them, nurse. Oh, I'm tired. I can hardly keep on my legs. The Vershinans mustn't be allowed to go home. The girls can sleep in the drawing room, and Alexander Ignatievich can go downstairs to the Baron's flat. Fedotek can go down there too, or else in our dining room. The doctor is drunk, beastly drunk, as if on purpose, so nobody can go to him. Vershinan's wife too may go into the drawing room.
Where are you? Oh, Olga dear, don't dismiss me. Don't dismiss me.
You're talking nonsense, nurse. Nobody is dismissing you.
Oh, my dear precious girl, I'm working. I'm toiling away. I'm growing weak. And they all say, go away. I wish I'd go. Well, I'm 81 years old.
Oh, you sit down, nurse dear. You're tired, poor dear. Rest, dear. You're so pale.
Natasha comes in.
They're saying that a committee to assist the sufferers from the fire must be formed at once. What do you think of that? It's a beautiful idea. Of course, the poor ought to be helped. It's the duty of the rich. Bobby and little Sophie are sleeping as if nothing at all was the matter. There's such a lot of people here. The place is full of them wherever you go. There's influenza in the town now. I'm afraid the children may catch it.
Oh, in this room, we can't see the fire. It's quiet in here.
Yes, I suppose I'm all untidy. They say I'm growing stout. Isn't true. Certainly it isn't. Masha's asleep. The poor thing is tired out. Don't dare to be seated in my presence. Get up. Out of this. I don't understand what makes you keep on that old woman.
Excuse me? I don't understand either.
She's no good here. She comes from the country. She ought to live there. Spoiling her, I call it. I like order in the house. We don't want any unnecessary people here. You're tired, poor thing. Our headmistress is tired. And when my little Sophie grows up and goes to school, I shall be so afraid of you.
I shan't be headmistress.
They'll appoint you, Olga. It's settled.
Oh, I'll refuse the post. I can't. I'm not strong enough. You were so rude to nurse just now. I'm sorry. I can't stand it. Everything seems dark in front of me.
Forgive me, Olga. Forgive me. I didn't want to annoy you.
Oh, remember, dear, We've been brought up in an unusual way, perhaps, but I can't bear this. Such behavior has a bad effect on me. I get ill. I simply lose heart.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
Oh, even the least bit of rudeness, the slightest impoliteness upsets me.
I often say too much, it's true. But you must agree, dear, that she could just as well live in the country.
She has been with us for 30 years.
But she can't do any work now. Either I don't understand or you don't want to understand me. She's no good for work. She can only sleep or sit about.
And let her sit about.
What do you mean? She's only a servant. I don't understand you, Olga. I've got a nurse, a wet nurse. We've got a cook, housemaid. What do we want that old woman for as well? What good is she?
Fire alarm behind the stage.
Oh, I've grown 10 years older tonight.
We must come to an agreement, Olga. Your place is the school, mine the home. You devote yourself to teaching, I to the household. And if I talk about servants, then I do know what I am talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. And tomorrow, there's to be no more of that old thief, that old hag, that witch. And don't you dare to annoy me. Don't you dare. Really? If you don't move downstairs, we shall always be quarreling. This is awful.
Enter Clegan.
Marcia, it's time you went home. The fire seems to be going down. Only one block is burnt down, but there was such a wind that it seemed at first that the whole town was going to burn. I'm tired out. My dear Olga, I often think that if it hadn't been for Marcia, I should have married you. You're awfully nice. I'm absolutely tired out.
What is it?
The doctor, of course, has been drinking hard. It's terrible. He might have done it on purpose. He seems to be coming in. Did you hear him? Yes. Here. What a man, really. I'll hide myself. Whoa.
Oh, he hadn't touched a drop for 2 years, and now he suddenly goes and gets drunk.
Retires with Natasha to the back of the room. Jabudikin enters, apparently sober. He stops, looks around, then goes to the washstand and begins to wash his hands.
Devil, take them all. Take them all. I think I'm a doctor, can cure everything, and I know absolutely nothing. I've forgotten all I ever knew. Remember absolutely nothing. Devil take it. Last Wednesday, I attended a woman in Zaysip, and she died. And it's my fault that she died. Yes. I used to know a certain amount 5 and 20 years ago, but I don't remember anything now. Nothing. Perhaps I'm not really a man. I'm only pretending that I've got arms and legs and a head. Perhaps I don't exist at all. I'm only imagine that I walk and eat, and sleep. Oh, if only I knew I didn't exist. The devil only knows. Day before yesterday, they were talking in the club. They said, Shakespeare, Voltaire. I never read at all. And I put on an expression as if I'd read. And so did the others. How beastly. How petty. And then I remembered the woman I killed on Wednesday. And I couldn't get her out of my mind. And everything in my mind became crooked, nasty, wretched. So I went and drank.
Let's sit down here. Nobody will come in here.
The whole town would have been destroyed if it hadn't been for the soldiers. Good men. Splendid people. Oh, what a fine lot.
What's the time?
Oh, it's past 3 now. It's dawning.
They are all sitting in the dining room. Nobody is going. And that Selenius of yours is sitting there. Hadn't you better be going to sleep, Doctor?
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you.
Speaking's a bit difficult. Haven't reminded me. Good man. In vino veritas, the ancients used to say.
Oh, they keep asking me to get up a concert in aid of the sufferers.
As if one could do anything.
It might be arranged if necessary. In my opinion, Maria Sergeyevna is an excellent pianist.
Yes, excellent.
She's forgotten everything. She hasn't played for 3 years or 4.
Oh, in this town, absolutely nobody understands music, not a soul, except myself, but I do understand it and assure you on my word that Maria Sergeyevna plays excellently, almost with a genius.
You're right, Baron. I'm awfully fond of Masha. She's very fine.
To be able to play so admirably and to realize at the same time that nobody can understand you.
Yes, but it will be quite all right to take part in a concert. You see, I don't know anything at all about it. Perhaps it will even be all to the good. Although I must admit that our director is a good man, a very good man, even, a very clever man. Still, he has certain views. Of course, it isn't his business, but still, if you wish it, perhaps I'd better call and talk.
Budokin takes a porcelain clock into his hand and examines it.
Got so dirty while the fire was on. I don't look like anybody on earth. Yesterday, I happened to hear, casually, that they want to transfer our brigade to some distant place. Some said to Poland, others said to Chita.
I heard so too. Well, if it is so, the town will be quite empty.
And we'll go away too.
Budokin drops the clock, which breaks to pieces.
Oh, man, such a beautiful, valuable object. Oh, Ivan Romanovich. Ivan Romanovich. Very sad mark for your misbehavior.
That clock used to belong to our mother.
Perhaps to your mother, perhaps I didn't break it. It only looks as if I broke it. Perhaps we only think that we exist when we really don't. I don't know anything. Nobody knows anything. What are you looking at? Natasha has a little romance with Protopotov, and you don't see it. There. You see it? You see nothing. And Natasha has a little romance with Protopov. Won't you please accept this fate?
Yes. How strange everything is. When the fire broke out, I hurried off home. When I get there, I see the house is whole, uninjured, and in no danger. But my 2 girls are standing by the door in just their underclothes, and their mother isn't there. The crowd is excited, horses and dogs are running about, and the girls' faces are so agitated, terrified, beseeching, and I don't know what else. My heart was pained when I saw those faces. My God, I thought, what these girls will have to put up with if they live long. I caught them up and ran, and still kept on thinking the one thing, what they will have to live through in this world. I come here and find their mother shouting and angry.
Masha enters with a pillow and sits on the sofa.
And when my girls were standing by their door in just their underclothes, and the street was red from the fire, there was a dreadful noise. And I thought that something of the sort used to happen many years ago when an enemy made a sudden attack and looted and burned. And at the same time, what a difference there really is between the present and the past. When a little more time has gone by, 200 or 300 years perhaps, people will look at our present life with just the same fear and the same contempt, and the whole past will seem clumsy and dull and very uncomfortable and strange. Oh, indeed, what a life there will be. What a life. Oh, forgive me. I've dropped into philosophy again. Please let me continue. I do so awfully want to philosophize. It's just how I feel at present. As if they are all asleep. As I was saying, what a life there will be. Only just imagine, there are only 3 persons like yourselves in the town just now. But in future generations, there will be more and still more. And the time will come when everything will change and become as you would have it. People will live as you do. And then you too will go out of date. People who will be born who are better than you. Yes, today I am quite exceptionally in the vein. I am devilishly keen on living. The power of love all ages know, from its assaults great good does grow.
Rum, tum, tum.
Tum, tum.
Tra-ra-ra.
Tra-ta-ta.
Hunter Fedoric, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out. Down to the ground.
I don't see anything funny about it. Is everything burnt?
Absolutely. Nothing left at all. The guitar's burnt, and the photographs are burnt, and all my correspondence, and I was going to make you a present of a notebook. And that's burnt too.
No, you can't come here, Vasily Vasilovich. Please go away.
Why can the Baron come here and I can't?
We really must go. How's the fire?
They say it's going down. No, I absolutely don't see why the Baron can and I can't.
Rum, tum, tum.
Tum, tum.
Let's go into the dining room.
Very well. We'll make a note of it. If I should try to make this clear, the geese would be annoyed, I fear.
Silione smelt of tobacco. Oh, the Baron's asleep. Baron, Baron.
I'm so tired, I must say. Oh, brickworks. Oh. No, I'm not wandering. I mean it. I'm going to start work soon at the brickworks. I've already talked it. I've already talked it over. Oh, you're so pale and beautiful and charming. Your paleness seems to shine through the dark air as if it was light. You are sad, displeased with life. Oh, come with me. Let's go and work together.
Nikolai Lvovich, go away from here.
Are you here? I didn't see you. Goodbye. I look at you now, and I remember, as if it was long ago, your name day, when you cheerfully and merrily were talking about the joys of labor and how happy life seemed to me then. What has happened to it now? There are tears in your eyes. Go to bed now. It's already day. Ugh, the morning begins. If only I was allowed to give my life for you.
Nikolai Lvovich, go away. What business have
I'm
you?
off.
Oh, are you asleep, Fyodor?
Huh?
Shouldn't you go home?
My dear Masha. My darling Masha.
She's tired out. You might let her rest, Fedya?
I'll go at once. My wife's a good, splendid. I love you, my only one.
Amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatis, amant.
No, she is really wonderful. I've been your husband 7 years, and it seems as if I was only married yesterday. On my word. No, you really are a wonderful woman. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied.
I'm bored, bored, bored. But I can't get it out of my head. It's simply disgraceful. It's been gnawing away at me. I can't keep silent. I mean about Andre. He has mortgaged this house with the bank, and his wife has got all the money. But the house doesn't belong to him alone, but to the 4 of us. He ought to know that if he's an honorable man.
But what's the use, Masha? Andre is in debt all around. Well, let him do as he pleases.
Oh, it's disgraceful anyway.
You and I are not poor. I work, take my classes, take private lessons. I'm a plain, honest man. Only me comporto, as they say.
I don't want anything, but the unfairness of it disgusts me. You go, Fyodor.
Oh, you're tired. Just rest for half an hour, and I'll sit and wait for you. Sleep. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied.
Yes, really, our Andre has grown smaller. How he snuffed out and aged with that woman. He used to want to be a professor, and yesterday he was boasting that at last he'd been made a member of the district council. He is a member, and Protopopov is chairman. The whole town talks and laughs about it, and he alone knows and sees nothing. And now everybody's gone to look at the fire, but he sits alone in his room and pays no attention, only just plays on his fiddle. Oh, it's awful, awful, awful. I can't bear it any longer. I can't. Throw me out, throw me out. I can't bear anymore.
What is it? What is it, dear?
Where has everything gone? Where is it all? Oh my God, my God. I've forgotten everything. I don't remember what is the Italian for window or, well, for ceiling. I forget everything. Every day I forget it, and life passes and we'll never return and we'll never go away to Moscow. I see that we'll never go.
Oh no, dear.
Oh, I am unhappy. I can't work. I shan't work. Enough. I used to be a telegraphist. Now I work at the town council offices, and I have nothing but hate and contempt for all they give me to do. I am already 23. I have already been at work for a long time, and my brain has dried up, and I've grown thinner, plainer, older. And there is no relief of any sort. And time goes, and it seems all the while as if I'm going away from the real, the beautiful life, farther and farther away down some precipice. I'm in despair, and I can't understand how it is that I am still alive, that I haven't killed myself.
Don't cry, dear girl. Don't cry. I suffer too.
I'm not crying. Not crying. Enough. Look, I'm not crying anymore. Enough.
Dear, I tell you as a sister and a friend, if you want my advice, marry the Baron. You respect him. You think highly of him. It is true that he is not handsome, but he is so honorable and clean. People don't marry from love, but in order to do one's duty. I think so at any rate, and I'd marry without being in love. Whoever he was, I should marry him, so long as he was a decent man, even if he was old.
I was always waiting until we should be settled in Moscow. There, I should meet my true love. I used to think about him and love him. But it's all turned out to be nonsense, all nonsense.
My dear, beautiful sister, I understand everything. When Baron Nikolai Lvovich left the army and came to us in evening dress, for he seemed so bad looking to me that I even started crying. He asked, "What are you crying for?" How could I tell him? But if God brought him to marry you, I should be happy. That would be different, quite different.
Natasha, with a candle, walks across the stage from right to left without saying anything.
She walks as if she set something on fire.
Masha, you're silly. You're the silliest of the family. Please forgive me for saying so.
I want to make a confession.
Masha.
I want to make a confession. Dear sisters, my soul is in pain. I will confess to you and never again to anybody. But I'll tell you this minute. It's my secret. But you must know everything. I can't be silent. I love that man. You saw him only just now. Why don't I say it in one word? I love Vershinin.
Stop that. I don't hear you in any case.
What am I to do? Oh, first he seemed queer to me, and then I was sorry for him, and then I fell in love with him. I fell in love with his voice, his words, his misfortunes, his 2 daughters.
I'm not listening. You may talk any nonsense you like. It will be all the same. I shan't hear.
Oh, Olga, you are foolish. I am in love. That means that is to be my fate. It means that is to be my lot. And he loves me. Oh, it is all awful. Yes. Oh, it isn't good, is it? Oh, my dear, how are we going to live through our lives? What is to become of us? When you read a novel, it all seems so old and easy, but when you fall in love yourself, then you learn that nobody knows anything, and each must decide for himself. My dear ones, my sisters. I've confessed now. I shall keep silence. Like the lunatics in Gogol's story. I'm going to be silent. Silent.
Andre enters, followed by Ferapont.
What do you want? I don't understand.
I've already told you 10 times, Andrei Sergeyevich.
In the first place, I'm not Andrei Sergeyevich, but sir.
The firemen, sir, ask if they can go across your garden to the river, else they go right round. It's a nuisance.
All right. Tell them it's all right. I'm tired of them. Where is Olga? I came to you for the key of the cupboard. I lost my own. You've got a little key. What a huge fire. It's going down now. Hang it all, that Ferapont made me so angry that I talked nonsense to him. Sir, indeed. Why are you so silent, Olga? It's time you stopped all that nonsense and behaved as if you were properly alive. You're here, Masha. Irina is here. Well, since we're all here, let's come to a complete understanding once and for all. What have you against me? What is it?
Please don't, Audrey dear. We'll talk tomorrow. What an awful night.
Don't excite yourself. I ask you in perfect calmness. What have you against me? Tell me straight.
Tum-ta-tum.
Tra-ta-ta! Oh, goodbye, Olga. God bless you. Sleep well. Goodbye, Andre. Go away now. They're tired. You can explain tomorrow.
I'll only say this and go. Just now, in the first place, you've got something against Natasha, my wife. I've noticed it since the very day of my marriage. Natasha is a beautiful and honest creature, straight and honorable. That's my opinion. I love and respect my wife. Understand it? I respect her. And I insist that others should respect her too. I repeat, she's an honest and honorable person, and all your disapproval is simply silly. In the second place, you seem to be annoyed because I'm not a professor and I'm not engaged in study, but I work for the Semstvo. I am a member of the district council, and I consider my service as worthy and as high as the service of science. I am a member of the district council, and I am proud of it, if you want to know. In the third place, I have still this to say, that I have mortgaged the house without obtaining your permission for that. I am to blame and ask to be forgiven. My debts led me into doing it. 35,000. I do not play at cards anymore. I stopped long ago, but the chief thing I have to say in my defense is that you girls receive a pension and I don't. My wages, so to speak.
Is Masha there? Where is she? It's queer.
They don't hear. Natasha is a splendid, honest person. When I married, I thought we should be happy. All of us thought, my God! My dear, dear sisters, don't believe me. Don't believe me.
Exit. Fire alarm. The stage is clear.
Olga, who's knocking on the floor?
It's Dr. Ivan Romanovich. He's drunk.
What a restless night. Olga, did you hear? They are taking the brigade away from us. It's going to be transferred to some place far away.
It's only a rumor.
Then we shall be left alone. Olga.
Well,
my dear darling sister, I highly value the Baron. He's a splendid man. I'll marry him. I'll consent. Only let's go to Moscow. I implore you, let's go. There's nothing better than Moscow on earth. Let's go, Olga. Let's go.
End of the act. Act 4. The old garden at the house of the Prozorovs. There is a long avenue of firs at the end of which a river can be seen. There is a forest on the far side of the river. On right is a terrace of the terrace of the house. Bottles and tumblers are there, just evident that champagne has just been drunk. It is midday. Every now and again, passers-by walk across the garden from the road to the river. 5 soldiers go past rapidly. Chaputikin, in a comfortable frame of mind, which does not desert him throughout the act, sits in an armchair in the garden, waiting to be called. He wears a peaked cap and has a stick. Irina Kolyagin, with a cross hanging from his neck and without his mustache, and Tuzenbach are sitting on the terrace, seeing off Fedotik and Rode, who are coming down into the garden. Both officers are in service uniform.
You're a good sort. We got on so well together. Once again, goodbye, old man.
Au revoir.
It isn't au revoir. It's goodbye. We'll never meet again.
Who knows? Here, I started crying.
We'll meet again sometime.
After 10 years or 15, we'll hardly know one another then. We'll say, how do you do? Coldly. Keep still. One more for the last time.
We shan't meet again. Thank you for everything, for everything.
Don't be in such a hurry.
And we shall meet again, if God wills it. Write to us. Be sure to write.
Goodbye, trees. Yo! Goodbye, Echo.
Best wishes. Go and get yourselves wives there in Poland. Your Polish wife will clasp you and call you Kochachku.
There's less than an hour left. Soleoni is the only one of our battery who is going on the barge. The rest of us are going with the main body. 3 batteries are leaving today, another 3 tomorrow, and the town will be quiet and peaceful.
And terribly dull.
And where is Maria Sergeyevna?
Masha is in the garden.
We'd like to say goodbye to her.
Goodbye. I must go, or else I'll start weeping. We've been so happy here.
Here's a keepsake for you, a notebook with a pencil. We'll go to the river from here.
Yo!
Oh.
Goodbye.
At the back of the stage, Fedoruk and Rode meet Masha. They say goodbye and go out with her.
They've gone.
And they forgot to say goodbye to me.
But why is that?
I just forgot somehow. Though I'll soon see them again. I'm going tomorrow. Yes, just 1 day left. I shall be retired in a year. Then I'll come here again and finish my life near you. I'm only 1 year before I get my pension. I'll come here to you and change my life radically. I'll be so quiet, so agreeable, respectable.
Yes, you ought to change your life, dear man, somehow or other.
Yes, I feel it. Ta-da-da-boom-die, ta-da-da-boom-die. What happened?
John Esposito?
We won't reform Ivan Romanovich. We won't reform him.
If only I was apprenticed to you, then I'd reform.
Oh, Fyodor has shaved his mustache. I can't bear to look at him.
Well, what about it?
I could tell you what your face looks like now, but it wouldn't be polite.
Well, it's the costume. It's modus vivendi. Our director is Greenstein. So I, too, when I received my inspectorship, had my mustaches removed. Nobody likes it, but it's all one to me. I'm satisfied. Whether I got mustaches or not, I'm satisfied.
At the back of the stage, Andre is wheeling a perambulator containing a sleeping infant.
Ivan Romanovich, be a darling. I'm awfully worried. You were out on the boulevard last night. Tell me what happened.
What? What happened? Nothing. Quite a trifling matter. No importance.
They say that Solani and the Baron met yesterday on the boulevard near the theater.
So stop. What right?
So near the theater, Solani started behaving offensively to the Baron, who lost his temper and said something nasty.
I don't know. It's all buckle.
At some seminary or other, a master wrote the bunkum on an essay, and the student couldn't make the letters out, thought it was Latin. Awfully funny that. They say that Solani is in love with Irina and hates the Baron. That's quite natural. Irina's a very nice girl. She's even like Masha. She's so thoughtful. Only, Irina, your character is gentle. Well, Masha's character, too, is a very good one. I'm very fond of Masha. Yo-ho!
Everything seems to frighten me today. I've got everything ready and I send my things off after dinner. The Baron and I will be married tomorrow, and tomorrow we go away to the brickworks, and the next day I go to the school and the new life begins. God will help me. When I took my examination for the teacher's post, I actually wept for joy and gratitude. The cart will be here in a minute for my things.
Somehow or other, all this doesn't seem at all serious, as if it was all ideas, and nothing really serious. Still, with all my soul, I wish you happiness.
My splendid, my dear precious girl. You've gone on far ahead. I won't catch up with you. I'm left behind like a migrant bird grown old and unable to fly. Fly, my dear, fly. And God be with you. It's a pity you shaved your mustache, Fyodorevich.
Oh, drop it. The day the soldiers will be gone and everything will go on as in the old days. Stay with me. Masha is a good, honest woman. I love her very much and thank my fate for her. People have such different fates. There's a Kozarov who works in the exercise department here. He was at school with me. He was expelled from the 5th class of the high school for being entirely unable to understand or concentrate. He's awfully hard up now and in very poor health. And when I meet him, I say to him, "How do you do at conservatarium?" "Yes," he says, "precisely, conservatarium," and coughs. "But I've been successful all my life. I'm happy. I even have a status first course in the 2nd class, and now I myself will teach others on conservatarium. Of course, I'm a clever man, much cleverer than many, but happiness doesn't only lie in that."
The Maiden's Prayer is being played on the piano in the house.
Tomorrow night, I shan't hear that maiden's prayer anymore, and I shan't be meeting Protopopov. Protopopov is sitting there in the drawing room, and he came today.
Hasn't the headmistress come yet?
No, she has been sent for. If only you knew how difficult it is for me to live alone without Olga. She lives at the high school, she, a headmistress, busy all day with her affairs, and I'm alone, bored, with nothing to do, and hate the room I live in. I've made up my mind. If I can't live in Moscow, then it must come to this. It's fate. It can't be helped. It's all the will of God, and that's the truth. Nikolai Lvovich made me a proposal. Well, I thought it over and made up my mind. He's a good man. It's quite remarkable how good he is. And suddenly my soul put out wings. I became happy and lighthearted, and once again the desire for work came over me. Only something happened yesterday. Some secret dread has been hanging over me.
Lock 'em. Rubbish.
The headmistress.
The headmistress has come. Let's go.
It is my washing day. Tarara-boom-die.
Masha approaches. Andre is wheeling a perambulator at the back.
Here you are, sitting here doing nothing.
What then?
Nothing. Did you love my mother?
Very much.
And did she love you?
I don't remember that.
Is my man here? You know, when our cook Martha used to ask about her gendarme, she used to say, "My man." Is he here?
Not yet.
When you take your happiness in little bits, in snatches, and then lose it as I have done, you gradually get coarser, more bitter. I'm boiling in here. There's our brother Andre. All our hopes in him have gone. You know, there was once a great bell. 1,000 persons were hoisting it. Much money and labor had been spent on it. When it suddenly fell and was broken. Suddenly, For no particular reason. Andre's like that.
When are they going to stop making such a noise in the house? It's awful.
It won't be much longer. My watch is very old-fashioned. It strikes the hours. The first, second, and fifth batteries are to leave at 1 o'clock precisely. And I go tomorrow.
For good?
I don't know. Perhaps I'll return in a year. The devil only knows. It's all one.
Somewhere a harp and violin are being played.
Town will grow empty. It will be as if they put a cover over it. Something happened yesterday by the theater. The whole town knows of it, but I don't.
Nothing. The silly little affair. Selenius started irritating the Baron, who lost his temper and insulted him, and so at last Selenius had to challenge him. It's about time, I think. At 12:30 in the public wood, that one you can see from here across the river. Selenius thinks he's Lermontov and even writes verses. That's all very well, but this is his third duel.
Whose?
Selenius.
And the Baron?
What about the Baron?
Everything's all muddled up in my head, but I say it ought not to be allowed. He might wound the Baron or even kill him.
Baron is a good man. But one Baron more or less, what's the difference does it make? It's all the same.
Beyond the garden wall, somebody shouts, "Cooey, hello!"
You wait, that's Scrubfoot shouting, one of the seconds. He's in a boat.
In my opinion, it's simply immoral to fight in a duel or to be present, even in the quality of a doctor.
It only seems so. We don't exist. There's nothing on earth. We don't really live. It only seems that we live. Doesn't matter anyway.
You talk and talk the whole day long. You live in a climate like this where it might snow any moment, and there you talk. I won't go into the house. I can't go there. Tell me when Vershinin comes. The migrant birds are already on the wing. Swans or geese. My dear happy things.
Our house will be empty. The officers will go away. You are going. My sister's getting married. And I alone will remain in the house.
And your wife?
Farapont enters with some documents.
A wife's a wife. She's honest, well-bred, yes, and kind. But with all that, there is still something about her that degenerates her into a petty, blind, even in some respects, misshapen animal. In any case, she isn't a man. I tell you as a friend, as the only man to whom I can lay bare my soul. I love Natasha, it's true, but sometimes she seems extraordinarily vulgar, and then I lose myself and can't understand why I love her so much, or at any rate, used to love her.
I'm going away tomorrow, old chap, and perhaps we'll never meet again. So here's my advice. Put on your cap, take a stick in your hand, go. Go on and on without looking round. And the farther you go, the better.
Solyoni goes across the back of the stage with two officers. He catches sight of Chibutikin and turns to him. The officers go on.
Doctor, it's time. It's 12:30 already.
Half a minute. I'm tired of the lot of you. If anybody asks for me, say I'll be back soon. Oh.
He didn't have time to sigh. The bear sat on him heavily. What are you groaning about, old man?
Stop it.
How's your health?
Mind your own business.
The old man is unnecessarily excited. I won't go far. I'll only just bring him down like a snipe. I poured out a whole bottle of scent today. They still smell of a dead body. Yes, you remember the poem. But he, the rebel, seeks the storm as if the storm will bring him rest.
Yes, he didn't have the time to sigh. The bear sat on him heavily.
Exit with Selioni. Shouts are heard. Andre and Ferapont come in. Documents to sign.
Oh, go away. Leave me, please.
Though that's what documents are for, to be signed. Retires to the back of the stage. Enter Irina with Tuzabak in a straw hat. Kollegin walks across the stage shouting,
Oui, Masha, oui.
He seems to be the only man in town who is glad the soldiers are going.
One can understand that. The town will be empty.
My dear, I shall return soon.
Where are you going?
I must go into town and then see the others off.
It's not true. Nikolai, why are you so absent-minded today? What took place by the theater yesterday?
In an hour's time, I shall return and be with you again. And darling, it's 5 years now since I fell in love with you, and still I can't get used to it. And you seem to me to grow more and more beautiful. That lovely, wonderful hair with eyes. I'm going to take you away tomorrow. We shall work. We shall be rich. My dreams will come true. And you will be happy. There's only one thing, only one little thing. You don't love me.
It isn't in my power. I shall be your wife. I shall be true to you and obedient to you. But I can't love you. What can I do? I have never been in love in my life. Oh, I used to think so much of love. I've been thinking about it for so long, by day and by night. But my soul is like an expensive piano, which is locked and the key lost. You seem so unhappy.
I didn't sleep last night. There's nothing in my life so awful as to be able to frighten me. Only that lost key torments my soul and does not let me sleep. Say something to me. Say something to me.
What can I say? What?
Anything, anything.
Don't.
It's curious how silly, trivial little things sometimes for no apparent reason become significant. At first, you laugh at these things. You think they're of no importance. You go on and you feel that you haven't got the strength to stop yourself. Let's talk about it. I am happy. It is as if for the first time in my life, I see these firs, maples, beeches, and they all look at me inquisitively and wait. The beautiful trees, and how beautiful, when one comes to think of it, life must be near them.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, it's time I went. There's a tree that's dried up, but it still sways in the breeze with the others. And so it seems to me that if I die, I shall still take part in life in one way or another. Goodbye, dear. The papers which you gave me are on my table under the calendar.
I'm coming with you.
No. Irina.
What is it?
I haven't had any coffee today. Tell them to make me some.
He goes out quickly. Irina stands deep in thought. Then as she goes to the back of stage and sits on a swing, Andre comes in with the perambulator and Ferapont also appears. Andrei Sergeyevich. Andrei Sergeyevich. It isn't as if the documents were mine. They are the government's. I didn't make them.
Oh, what has become of my past, and where is it? I used to be young, happy, clever. I used to be able to think and frame clever ideas. The present and the future seem to me full of hope. Why do we, almost before we have begun to live, become dull, gray, uninteresting, lazy, apathetic, useless, unhappy? This town has already been in existence for 200 years, and it has 100,000 inhabitants, not one of whom is in any way different from the others. There has never been, now or at any other time, a single leader of men, a single scholar, an artist, a man of even the slightest eminence who might arouse envy or a passionate desire to be imitated. They only eat, drink, sleep, and then they die. More people are born and also eat, drink, sleep, and so as not to go silly from boredom, they try to make life many-sided with their beastly backbiting, vodka, cards, and litigation. The wives deceive their husbands, and the husbands lie and pretend they see nothing and hear nothing. And the evil influence irresistibly oppresses the children, and the divine spark in them is extinguished, and they become just as pitiful corpses and just as much like one another as their fathers and mothers. What do you want?
What? Documents want signing.
I'm tired of you.
The hall porter from the law courts was saying now that in the winter there were 200 degrees of frost in Petersburg.
The present is beastly, but when I think of the future, how good it is. I feel so light, so free. There is a light in the distance. I see freedom. I see myself and my children freeing ourselves from vanities, from kvass, from goose baked with cabbage, from after-dinner naps, from base idleness.
He was saying that 2,000 people were frozen to death. The people were frightened, he said, in Petersburg or Moscow. I don't remember which.
My dear sisters, my beautiful sisters, Masha, my sister.
Who's talking so loudly out here? Is that you, Andre? You wake little Sophie. Ne fa pa fa de burit. La Sophie est dormie déjà. Vous êtes un ars. If you want to talk, then give the perambulator and the baby to somebody else. Farabot, take the perambulator.
Yes,
I'm speaking quietly.
Papi, naughty papi, bad little papi.
All right, I'll look them over and sign if necessary, and you can take them back to the offices.
Andre goes into the house reading the paper. Farapon takes the perambulator to the back of the garden.
Papi, what's your mother's name? Dear, dear. And who's this? That's Aunt Olga. Say to your aunt, how do you do, Olga?
Two wandering musicians, a man and a girl, are playing on a violin and a harp. Rashina, Olga, and Anfisa come out of the house and listen for a minute in silence. Irina comes up to them.
Our garden might be a public thoroughfare from the way people walk and ride across it. Nurse, give those musicians something.
Go away with God's blessing on you. Bitter sort of people. You don't play on a full stomach. How do you do, Arisha? Well, little girl, here I am, still alive, in the high school together with little Olga in her official apartments. So the Lord has appointed for my old age, sinful woman that I am. I've never lived like that in my life before. A large flat government property, and I have a whole room in bed to myself, all government property. I wake up at night and, oh God and Holy Mother, there isn't a happier person than I.
We are going soon, Olga Sergeyevna. It's time for me to go. I wish you every. Where's Maria Sergeyevna?
She's somewhere in the garden. I'll go and look for her.
If you'd be so kind, I haven't time. Jackie?
I'll go and look too. Little Masha, cooey, cooey, cooey.
Oh,
Everything comes to an end, and so we too must part. Town gave us sort of a farewell breakfast. We had champagne to drink, and the mayor made a speech, and I ate and listened, but my soul was here all the time. I'm so used to you now.
Shall we ever meet again?
Probably not. My wife and both my daughters will stay here another 2 months. If anything happens, or if anything needs to be done.
Yes, of course. You need not worry. Tomorrow there won't be a single soldier left in the town. Well, it'll be a memory, and of course, for us, a new life will begin. None of our plans are coming right. I didn't want to be headmistress, but they made me one all the same. It means there's no chance of Moscow.
Well, thank you for everything. Forgive me if I've said such an awful lot. Forgive me for that too. Don't think badly of me.
Why isn't Masha coming?
What else can I say in parting? Can I philosophize about anything? Oh, life is heavy. To many of us, it seems dull and hopeless, but still it must be acknowledged that it is getting lighter and clearer, and it seems that the time is not far off when it will be quite clear. It's time I went. Mankind used to be absorbed in wars, and all its existence was filled with campaigns, attacks, defeats, and now we've outlived all that, leaving after us a great waste place, which there is nothing to fill with at present. But mankind is looking for something and will certainly find it. Oh, if it could have happened more quickly. If only education could be added to industry and industry to education. It's time I went.
Here she comes.
I came to say goodbye.
Bye.
Don't.
Write to me. Don't forget. Let me go. It's time. Take her, Olga Sergeyevna. It's time. I'm late.
Don't, Masha. Stop, dear.
Never mind, let her cry. Let her. My dear Masha, my good Masha. You're my wife, and I'm happy, whatever happens. I'm not complaining. I don't reproach you at all. Olga is a witness to it. Let's begin to live again as we used to. not by a single word or hint.
There stands a green oak by the sea, and a chain of bright gold is around it. And a chain of bright gold is around it. Oh, I'm going off my head. There stands a green oak by the sea.
Don't, Masha, don't. Give her some water.
I'm not crying anymore.
No, she's not crying anymore. She's so good.
A shot is heard from a distance.
There stands a green oak by the sea, and a chain of bright gold is around it. An oak of green gold. Oh, I'm mixing it up. Oh, life is dull. I don't want anything more now. I'll be all right in a moment. It doesn't matter. What do those lines mean? Why do they run in my head? My thoughts, they're all tangled.
Be quiet, Masha. There's a good girl. Let's go in.
I shan't go in there. I am not going to go into the house. I won't go.
Let's sit here together and say nothing. I'm going away tomorrow.
Yesterday, I took away these whiskers and this beard from a boy in the 3rd class. Yep. Don't I look like the German master? Don't I? The boys are amusing.
You really do look like that German of yours.
Yes.
Don't, Masha.
Yeah, it's a very good likeness.
Enter Natasha.
What? Mikhail Ivanovich Protopopov will sit with little Sophie, and Andrei Sergeyevich can take little Bobby out. Children are such a bother. Irina, it's such a pity you're going away tomorrow. Do stop just another week. How you frightened me. I've grown used to you, Irina, and do you think it will be easy for me to part from you? I'm going to have Andrei and his violin put into your room. Let him fiddle away in there. And we'll put little Sophie into his room. The beautiful, lovely child. What a little girlie. Today she looked at me with such pretty eyes and said, Mama.
A beautiful child. It's quite true.
That means I shall have the place to myself tomorrow. In the first place, I shall have that avenue of fir trees cut down, then that maple. It's so ugly at nights. That belt doesn't suit you at all, dear. It's an error of taste. And I'll give orders to have lots and lots of little flowers planted here. And they'll smell. Why is there a fork lying about here on the seat? Why is there a fork lying about here on the seat, I say? Don't you dare to answer me.
Jumper, jumper.
A march is played off. They all listen.
They're going.
They're going. Well. Bon voyage. We must be going home. Where's my coat and hat?
I took them in. I'll bring them in a moment.
Yes. Now we can all go home. It's time.
Olga Sergeyevna.
What is it? What is it?
Nothing. I don't know how to tell you.
It can't be true.
Yes, such a story. I'm tired, exhausted. I won't say anymore. Still, it's all the same.
What happened?
Terrible day. I don't know how to tell you, dear.
What is it? Tell me quickly, what is it? For God's sake.
The Baron was killed in the duel just now.
I knew it.
I'm tired. Let him cry. Ta-da-da-boom day. It is my washing day. Isn't it all the same?
Oh, how the music plays. They're leaving us. One has quite left, quite and forever. We remain alone to begin our life over again. We must live. We must live.
There will come a time when everybody will know why, for what purpose there is all this suffering. There will be no more mysteries. But now we must live. We must work. Just work. Tomorrow I'll go away alone. And I'll teach and give my whole life to those who perhaps need it. It's autumn now. Soon it will be winter. The snow will cover everything, and I shall be working.
The bands are playing so gaily, so bravely. And one does so want to live. Oh my God. Time will pass on and we shall depart forever. We shall be forgotten. They will forget our faces, voices, and even how many there were of us. But our sufferings will turn into joy for those who will live after us. Happiness and peace will reign on the earth, and people will remember with kindly words and bless those who are living now. Oh, dear sisters, our life is not yet at an end. Let us live. The music is so gay, so joyful, and it seems that in a little while we shall know why we are living, why we are suffering. If we could only know, if we could only know.
Music has been growing softer and softer. Cohegan, smiling happily, brings out the hat and coat. Andre wheels out the perambulator in which Bobby is sitting.
Ta-da-da-boom day, it is my washing day. It's all the same. It's all the same.
If we could only know. If we could only know.
End of play. Well done. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. I mean, it's great to see, I mean, how well we can get together, and just like with Shakespeare, that Chekhov also has such wonderful riches, and just all of you. Thank you all so much. Excellent work. And as again, I apologize for some of you for the late sending of things, but hey, I'm mastering 3 plays this week, so there we go. And working.
Wonderful job, friends.
Yeah.
It's a great play. Such a good play.
So
I wonder if did Tolstoy like this one? Because he didn't like The Seagull. I hope he liked this one.
Fuck Tolstoy.
This one he could not excuse. Come on.
Oh, he probably thought he didn't have enough words.
Yeah,
it's only 3 hours.
The Seagull's not long enough.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
And this one doesn't have a very wordy writer character who's kind of an asshole. So
Thank goodness.
yeah.
probably helps his
I like
liking of it.
Tolstoy, but this is a really poetic play. I mean,
Mm.
just the outside
Very.
listening to it, it's a great piece of poetry. It's very
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it deals with a lot. It deals with a lot. And I wonder what Stella Adler says about it. I should read about it because she talks about how when she met with Stanislavski, who supposedly Chekhov didn't like his direction of the play because he thought it was too broad and he wanted more subtleties. But she said that he was so much writing about the time he was living in. And there was already great anxiety going on among the peasants. They wanted to change. And the rich were very worried about that. And the idle rich probably had a lot to worry about. And I don't know, it's an interesting play because it deals with loss, like he loses all his money in gambling. And then he gets it back, but he doesn't give any to his sisters. And it's, he's saying a lot in this play for a little, it's like he's like King Lear, he's reflecting a lot on the politics of the time in a little domestic drama. To me, that's what it says to me anyway.
I think in Michael
The
Frayn's,
words that it puts in my mouth that that Anfisa should be sent back to the country because she isn't any good for any work anymore.
Right, that's horrible. And Natasha just like takes over.
Yeah.
She's got
Natasha
economic
is
power.
she's such a great villain.
I love it. I always imagine that Irina and Olga's room is full of all the stuff in that third act. Like Natasha has just pushed all of their belongings, and that's why the clock is, just like shoved everything out of everyone's way.
Very good, yeah. Well, Angus would probably be able to tell us a lot because he knows Chekhov really well. Sounds.
Tell you, I've got a beautiful samovar. I just have to find some place to do Chekhov.
Barn. You find a place.
I used this. I used the canteen.
I'll come to the East Coast.
I used a canteen, but look at this stick. Is this a great stick or what?
Yeah, no, my samovar is about, I don't know, it's a 2 feet tall samovar. It's
Yes, and it plays such a prominent thing, like the big gift that it's like, oh great, another thing for somebody to give us. And everybody's always trying to give Irina all these things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've seen this play twice. This is the first time I've ever read it. I always, when I saw it, always that duel kind of felt like it came from nowhere. But now I read it and it's like, there's a lot about this.
Yeah.
That whole scene
It
where
leads up to it.
he's fetching the doctor for the duel, and now that's so clear. I just wonder. I guess it was maybe as a failure in the production to make it not clear. I don't know.
There's a lot of failed productions of this.
Yes.
Of all Chekhov.
Yes.
Shakespeare.
I tell you, we saw that the Cherry Orchard a while back. That a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, blah blah blah. This isn't Chekhov enough," and it was like it was hilarious and wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think people, a lot of the critics were like, "Oh, it's Chekhov. It's supposed to be depressing," and it's like, no, actually, it's not. He was like a comedy writer. His farces were his bread and butter. That was his basic job. He was like.
And I was laughing in this. Writer. There's humor in this. There's a lot of humor in this.
A lot. And I think the key to any great tragedy is finding the laugh lines.
Yeah,
totally.
It makes it so much more cutting, like having the humor and the like deep tragedy just right alongside each other, and like that's what Chekhov
just
was
more real
so
that
great
way.
at. Yeah.
Fun read.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, I guess I should stop the live stream.